Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Realm of Ori. In this video, we will continue with Volume 12, Chapter 3 Visitors from the Empire, Part 5. And before we start, this video contains spoilers from the anime and manga series. And by the way guys, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon to get notifications for upcoming videos. So without further ado, let's get into the video. The capital of Tempest, Rimuru, was bustling with life. It was a thriving city that could very well be called a metropolis. Even from the perspective of Shinji's crew, who were all otherworlders themselves, they found it to be highly developed and devoid of medieval drawbacks. Aside from the empire's capital of Nazca, its surrounding cities were filled with the stench of animals. However, there was nothing of the sort, much to their surprise. I thought we were going to be welcomed by an empty plot of land aside from a gate, or are we at the wrong place? I doubt it. Either they can change this place however they want, or the spies we sent were hallucinating. If so, then we can't let our guard down. The three of them were astonished by what they saw. I think I'll stay here. Hey, can we, not return to the Empire? Hey. No, sorry just kidding. Don't take it the wrong way, Shinji. I'm not mad, I'm just wondering if I could seriously consider it. I want to live here as well. No, we absolutely can't. Yeah, Yuki-san won't be cool with it and Master Gadra is, frankly, too scary to deal with. Besides, the war is on the horizon. With heavy hearts they swallowed their doubts and, true to their mission, set out to challenge the Labyrinth. They tittle-tattled as they passed through the 40th floor. So, Hiro Masayuki finally managed to break through the 50th floor, but I must say, this is too easy. Haha, that makes sense. After all, Yuki-san said that Masayuki wasn't particularly strong. But his skill shouldn't be underestimated. I mean, that's probably why he was able to conquer it. He slowly but surely challenged it, taking him more than half a year to break through. They gathered information in advance to avoid taking risks, but now Shinji and crew felt that the dungeon was heavily based on game mechanics. In light of this knowledge, they could best describe this dungeon as nothing but a plaything, its challengers certainly being the targets of someone's devious schemes. Nevertheless, this was all familiar to those in the know. I guess the challengers had a hard time conquering it due to their lack of knowledge. That's right. I did mock this as an obstacle course, but that's exactly what this is. If you can decipher the malicious intentions of the creator, you can just sneak past that stuff. And it doesn't even kill you. While they were collecting information, they had heard about the resurrection bracelet. You could get one for free like a one-time deal from the reception desk. With the bracelet equipped, you would revive back at the entrance upon dying in the labyrinth, so they were told. The problem was that they didn't know how deep this dungeon was. Even though they wanted to conquer it in one go, the rations they brought were limited. The trio were at a loss about how much food they had to pack for the exploration, and an unexpected solution to this problem came from the reception desk. Oh, you don't have to worry about that. When you see the stairs, you will find an entrance to the inn, where you can stay for a fee. So you guys don't have to rack your brains over rations. Rimuru-sama said, only snacks up to 300 yen. And there are merchants waiting in the inn, so they can buy the stuff you don't need, you know? Hurry it up, we don't need to hear about the snacks. Now back to the present. It had been a week since they started their conquest of the labyrinth. Shinji and the other two were examining their loot while resting in the labyrinth's inn. By the way, we've earned a lot in these few days, haven't we? They claimed that this place would be Spartan, but it's quite comfortable. Despite that, the accommodation fee is cheap, and we've saved a lot of money by selling unnecessary equipment, right? I suppose. We've earned quite the pretty penny. From what I've heard, the challengers on the front line haven't managed to make it past the 50th floor. Only Masayuki's party has managed to conquer it, so that will make us the second group to do so. Yeah, that Tempest serpent, right? It was certainly strong, but it was no match for us. Changing gears, they started contemplating their strategy for the following day's conquest. Tomorrow, we will head to the 51st floor. The area from that point onward seems to be called the Paradise of the Dead. Exactly. Also, this is kind of weird, but this really is like a game, the boss protecting the key to the next stage. And the monsters are also getting stronger and stronger after each floor. Shinji was already on the same page. Too many things came to his mind. The boss monsters, one on every 10th floor, were becoming stronger the lower they went. First, it was the B-ranked black spider, and then it was a B+ ranked evil centipede. And on the 30th floor, the B+ ranked crazed ogre king showed up with multiple subordinates. The fact that those monsters knew how to coordinate made it impossible to beat them with strength alone. There was the previously mentioned -ranked Tempest serpent on the 40th floor, and the monster that appeared on the 50th floor was the Majin named Gozer, a Gyuki that could talk like a human. Still, the trio had made quick work of it, though not without substantial effort. Seriously, since a monster as strong as that was protecting floor 50, the ones following it will be even tougher nuts to crack. It might be our last fight. I guess our tactics centered on Mark will stay the same as before. Now that we have special weapons, let's push it as far as we can. I don't suppose you'll find monsters much stronger than that. In fact, I'd say the 60th floor is the final one, but if it isn't, don't freak out, don't worry, that's not happening. Well, if worse comes to worst, we'll still come out alive. So, let's stay sharp and go hard. They were all on board, their sights were set on the final floor. 3 days later, the trio finally found the stairs on the 59th floor, leading to the 60th floor where the boss monster's room was. Are you ready? Yeah, the one ahead is called a Guardian, just like the one from floor 50. There's no doubt that it'll be an intelligent monster. I know, it's likely that it's more troublesome than the Death Lord we fought yesterday. Let's go all out from the start. They gave a final nod to each other, and then, they carefully placed their hands on the door and pushed it open with a single thrust. Stepping back a bit in time, I was in my room, working on building a surveillance system, when I received a message from Beretta through the telepathy net. Rimuru-sama, I have something urgent to report. So, how's the situation? Yes sir. There were 3 people who broke through, and all of them are unique skill holders. It was necessary to investigate this thoroughly. Thus, I stopped the plan to test the surveillance magic and headed to the control room of the Labyrinth. Ah, Commander, you're here. The situation remains unchanged for now. I then turned my eyes towards the video shown on the huge screen. It displayed 3 youngsters. It appeared as though they were conquering one floor after another at breakneck speed, and their fighting style was quite distinctive. As we stood there watching their fight, they filled me in on what happened until today. Shuna brought the papers which had the registration information of these 3 people. This is the registration form of those 3 collected at the time of their entry to Tempest. Shinji, 23 years old, magician. Mark, 26 years old, warrior. Shin, 17 years old, hunter. Shinji, that's obviously a fake name. It has to be Shinji. Those 3 must be spies who took the bait, yes. However, would they really blow their cover this blatantly? Yeah, that's what I was wondering, too. I thought it might be a diversion, but the town's security is pretty calm. Rimuru, you're overthinking it. Didn't you say honesty is the best policy? That's right. Putting that aside, it's more important to figure out how to deal with these people. Oh, that's good, you guys. Always happy-go-lucky. And so, 3 days passed. Veldora, Ramirez, and I were happily observing the progress Shinji and his party were making. By the way, Rimuru, you said that those 3 were people who took the bait. What did you mean by that? Don't worry about that. Don't give me the cold shoulder, tell me. Okay, I'll tell you. Actually, taking the bait was both literal and figurative. We had introduced disaster drills. The idea behind it was to do the impossible and isolate the entire city within the dungeon. Ramirez's intrinsic skill, labyrinth creation, really was amazing. I knew that the floors could be swapped, but even the city above ground could be swapped with one of the floors. Of course, it needed a lot of power, and that's where Veldora-san came into the picture. That was why I had been planning to isolate the town when the war came. I see. Thanks to Mentor, I've also gotten a power-up. I'm glad to be of help. Kakuku, I see. Thanks to me, huh. Well, you really helped, Veldora-san. Gah ha ha ha, ain't that right? You all heard it, so, could you give me the cake? Of course I can't. Then, have mine. Ooh, thanks Diablo. Sorry about that. No, it's the least I can do for you, Rimuru-sama. How reliable. I may as well indulge in his kindness. The challengers were trying to take on the 60th floor. Knowing they are spies, wouldn't it be better if we captured them? No, I want to see how strong they are, how far they can go. Giving them the prize money does sting, but it's pretty exciting and I don't see any problems with it. You're amazing as always, Rimuru. That's dirty, but really smart. But it seems we failed. Who would have thought that Minos' Bardici would appear on the first drop? It's a holy weapon, so undead creatures will have to watch out. We were getting a little carried away with the first time guaranteed drop thing. The guardian of the 60th floor was Adalmann. As long as Mark was using Minos' Bardici, it seemed like Adalmann's chances of winning were fleetingly low. At that point, I curbed my expectations and instead looked forward to their battle against the guardians of floor 70. Immortal King Adalmann curled his fleshless lips when he noticed the presence of intruders in his domain. You seem happy, Adalmann-sama. Indeed, I am in high spirits. Albert, the guests have arrived. I see, they've finally come. Yes. The time has finally come to be useful to him. After all, it was Rimuru-sama who let us live peacefully. Now that we have been given this much power, you know that we can't afford to make the same mistakes as last time. I am well aware of that, of course. Fufufu, I suppose it was an unnecessary warning. Perhaps the excitement has made me a bit talkative. A few months after his painful defeat, in order to be useful to Rimuru, Adalmann devoted all of his time into regaining his strength as a White King as quickly as possible. Thus, he rapidly possessed power which surpassed his own when he was in his prime. That was the degree of Adalmann's devotion. Meanwhile, Rimuru found faithfulness to this degree rather overbearing. On the contrary, he was thinking, sorry guys, it doesn't look like you'll win this one, and was already placing his expectations on the next guardian. But since Adalmann and Albert were blissfully unaware of this, they remained full of energy and enthusiasm. In high spirits, Adalmann and his companions began to take careful measures against the foolish intruders who would arrive shortly. The ferocious battle ended as soon as it began, is what I wanted to say, but it all ended so quickly that it left me speechless. It ended with Adalmann steamrolling the invaders. It was a stunningly vivid victory. What's going on? Why are those two so strong right now? And what's with that dragon? He, you must have been surprised. Actually, I kept it a secret, but you gave them equipment, right? They looked overjoyed and were training really hard. And you remember how the magicule density in the labyrinth is so high? By absorbing those magicules, Adalmann and Albert regained their former power. White Kings and Death Paladins have the same amount of magicules as archdemons. Gah ha ha ha, the little guys are trying their best to be useful to us in their own little way. Well then, what is that dragon? What, you didn't know? That's Adalmann's pet. Now that you mention it, I feel like Adalmann did say something about wanting to keep a pet. I never would have expected such a fiendish dragon. So, moving on to the main point, the events of the battle. Mark didn't even get any time to display the true abilities of his Minos' Bardici. Albert blocked him with a weapon of equal class, the unique grade cursed sword, and flawlessly cut him down. Shin, witnessing this for himself, became dumbfounded, lowering his defenses for a split second. Shin was defeated just as easily as Mark. Shinji couldn't help but scream in shock and rushed to shoot Albert with the holy magic, holy cannon. So he managed to land a direct hit on Albert. Albert didn't move was because he didn't need to. No way, Shinji cried out as Albert's sword sliced through him. The battle ended there. Hold on, Albert is undead, so shouldn't he be weak to the holy element? Report. Holy demonic reversal is a secret technique created by the individual Adalmann. With the effects of this skill, attributes of holy and demonic elements can be exchanged. I thought holy undead was a joke, but Adalmann's holy demonic reversal proved otherwise. Adalmann's team had won without having to use the magic I had taught them. That was how easy Shinji and his friends were defeated and turned into particles of light.